Hello, and welcome to The Relevance of Now with William Linville. My name is Michael Connell. I'll be your host today. Today, William is going to address the long-term benefits of facing your fears. Hey, William.
Hey, Michael, how's it going, buddy? How you doing today? Are you having a lot of fun?
Heart is opened, flying away today.
Bring it on, man.
And as we start with this topic, I thought it would be helpful to address in our day-to-day life, generally, what blocks us from facing our fears and moving beyond them?
Well, it goes back down to the first perception that pain is bad, comfort is good, the point of life is to be undisturbed. If we can define fear for what it is, the only thing fear is, any and every fear, is pretty simple. I guess I'll call it the misperception of anything and everything going on around you. Whether it be fear of water, whether it be fear of snakes, whether it be fear of losing your job. Maybe it's a fear of losing a relationship or a partnership. Maybe it's a fear of something happening to your offspring, your animal kingdom, or anything and everything that is going to bring forth breaking the rules that pain is bad, comfort is good, and the point of life is to be undisturbed. Because remember, you gotta remember the human conditioning, right? Is to avoid and avoid change, avoid and avoid pain, which pain is so misinterpreted, anyways. Only thing pain is really just a different sensation going on in your body, going on through the egoic structure from you as creator, creating that when this happens, that happens, that happens, is going to equal this. And the cyber's going to go on, and we're going to call that pain or uncomfortability. It's about the fear of disharmony within and through yourself based upon your thoughts, your words, your conditioning, your perceptions, and perceptual judgments. That's why you hear so much about dear ones resonating with this, not resonating with that, on and on and on and on and on. It's because the things you don't resonate with, it just really means something simple. It just means that it doesn't fit into your wheelhouse of comfortability. Now you remove the judgment, you remove the perceptional belief systems, it's kind of fun, it's like lopping your head off to where you're fully and completely right here, right now, with no personas, no perceptions, no assumptions or projections of how things should be, must be, and on and on and on. You look at peace. Now, I bring it back to peace because peace is simple. You could be in peace in the middle of a battleground. You could be in peace in the middle of famine, bombs going off, whatever, whatever. The part that takes the peace away is the perceptional judgment, identification, and then, once again, the sirens going on through the adrenals that are very, very misguided to where they kick on, and now we go into a body principle of survival. Now, the body doesn't normally go into survival. It's about what you perceive, what you have commanded as creator here, as creator, clear consciousness to be reality or not reality, what perceives to be invading on the first three perceptions. Pain is bad, comfort is good, the point of life is to be undisturbed. And then you go into the second part of the egoic states of consciousness, which is, am I, will I, did I do the right thing? Now, that's variable because right thing compared to what? The right thing compared to what you knew at that time versus your whole, complete, omnipotent knowingness. And then, yeah, of course, things continue to open up, things continue to rearise until eventually you sit down you take a breath and you search yourself for what is true, what feels like light and openness, where we arise from the antagonist and the protagonist state of consciousness. We arise from everything is either happening for me or to me. We arise to all that stuff to supersede, overcome, to where eventually we supersede and overcome the whole identification to a me, because it's kind of funny, right? The body, as a rule, is neutral. The mental and emotional levels from the mind identifying with the egoic state of consciousness, once again, as creator, you as creator commanding this to be so, that to be so, that to be so. Let's call that once again the limiting comfort zone. To where now, as long as everything goes the way that supports your perceptional identities, perceptional belief systems, perceptions, receptions of anything and everything else going on within you, through you, and around you, then that means, aha, the ego and the mind, not yourself, but the ego and the mind perceiving itself right here, right now to be safe. Does that better clarify that, Mr. Michael?
Absolutely. And so in our day-to-day life, or I remember when I was bumping up against fears in the past and it was uncomfortable, I would then compound that with beliefs that this is just the way I am, or things like that, which would then block me from moving past the pain or past the discomfort of changing.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool, Michael, isn't it? How you were able to get to that point. Let's just call it that point of acceptance. And acceptance is also a point of surrendering to what is. And then eventually you go beyond a point of exception, which a point of acceptance is very important because that's where you start to gather clarity. You start to gather momentum. Because now, by accepting it, you're no longer fighting it.
And I just want to add, because that just reminded me of a significant point in my transition, is after I was ill and the doctors told me that there was like a 50-50 chance that the cancer would come back, it was only till I got to accepting that I wasn't totally in control.
Yeah.
And that, and accepting that that was possible. And I would say, as I was just learning about my higher self, but I would say what I might have called the universe or whatever I called it, I know I'm not in control and I want to live. And that
It's,
just eliminated the fear right away.
yeah, because you accepted the cancer. You accepted what is, which is it's so beautiful, Michael, because that's where you start to be able to really, really step into, really, really arise into your power. But the reality isn't about the death of the body. Like you mentioned, Mr. Michael, it's the death of the ego, the death of not perceiving, believing that you're in control. Because when it comes back around to it, you have control of two things, only two things, period: your actions and your reactions.
Right.
So, only two things you actually have any control over. But at the same time, you got to remember everything we're playing with, everything we're opening up to right here within and through the relevance of the now. It's one simple answer. You're waking up, you're rising into, and you're accelerating within and through love. Then letting everything else take care of itself. Fear, at the core of fear, There's no way around it. The core of fear is still love. It's still light. Doesn't matter how big the fear is, doesn't matter how perceivably identified you are with it. The core of absolutely everything is still love. Because love is consciousness, consciousness is love is light is love, light is God is light, whatever and however you wish to perceive it. But now it presents these ways from a lot of levels within yourself and through yourself of, I mean, honestly, misinterpreting and misinterpretations that give it the phantom word called fear. Is that awesome, Michael?
That is awesome. And so when we talk about the long term benefits of facing our fears, and that all our fears are misperceptions of what either has occurred in the past or what's occurring around us,
Uh
inside of
huh.
us, outside of us right now. When we face these misperceptions within us, what are the benefits for our life stream, for our minds, for our bodies?
So let's have fun with it for a moment. What happens when we can just step back, take another breath, and right now, let's see what it feels like right in your heart, right in your third eye, right in your solar plexus, right through your throat, right through your creator chakra vortex, all the way through the root chakra vortex, the crown chakra vortex. Let's all just take a breath. Let's just see what it's like for yourself right now to have no polarization or duality. Where there's love, there's got to be fear. Where there's unconditional love, there's got to be conditional love. Where there's light, there's got to be darkness. Where there's happiness and joy, there has to be depression and sadness or despair. Let's all just for a minute, just take a breath. Ah, exhaling with a deep sigh. Let's all just see for right here, right now, within yourself and through yourself, where we're no longer playing with consciousness alters matter. We're no longer playing with love and pain. What about right here, right now? We really thoroughly, truly just to experience you free of fear. Because in all reality, the answer to your question, Michael, is that the more that we go here, every decision, every action, every reaction, blah, blah, blah. Well, can you imagine right here, right now, being without any duality, any fear? There's no woman holding two scales trying to balance them out. We're stepping out of all the scales to right here, right now, how we've all welcome our power back, our energy back, cleared and purified, our soul fragmentations back, just right here, right now, cleared and purified to where we are, of course, changing, or let's just say arising our whole life stream, including no any longer set in polarized, biased outcomes to play out. We're right here, right now. We've risen above it. We've gone beyond it. We're now, as far as the hypothetical future or your whole life, the benefit of looking at your fear superseding the, let's say, looking at your misperceptions and clearing them now from where you're at right now with your clarity, your benevolence, your lightheartedness, and the light in which you are to where now aren't we also affecting the rest of our life stream by now welcoming in true opportunities that are not based in light equals dark, love equals pain, on and on and on. But we're literally right here, right now. We step out of it all. We open up. We become more receptive. But now we start really, truly having true, clear outcomes with for the rest of our life stream in every situation, every scenario, whether it be parenting, whether it be working, whether it be owning a company, whether it be anything and everything. where right here, right now, are we also being in a state where we're now wide awake, fully alert, opening up to love, with love, as love? And right here, right now, where none of the old perceptions, personas, none of the old fears that are wavering around saying, remember me, remember me, remember, we're really afraid of snakes. Remember, we're really afraid of sharks. Remember, we're really afraid of the stock market falling apart and blah, blah, blah. Where we can look at all this stuff. What happens when we just right here, right now, we just really allow ourselves to rise above, open up, being free of any old concepts, perceptions, identifications, and misperceptions? What happens now when truly all is truly well? We're no longer playing by the hands of humanity. We're no longer playing by the hands of consciousness alters physics. So when we go up, we got to go down. The whole roller coaster effect that you've seen, that you've watched, that you've witnessed. No longer playing with suppressed anger, fear, or judgment, where we're no longer on that roller coaster of emotion, to where now we're able to feel. Feeling brings forth love, it brings forth joy, it brings forth clarity, it brings forth divinitization, it brings forth exuberance and excitement. More and more and more within yourself, no longer ran around by the emotional roller coaster, because many perceive emotions are feeling, but they're not. Emotions are man made and created via all the perceptual judgment based upon the underlying current of all the fears in which you've been carrying via misinterpretation, number one, and number two, misperception. Where are you right now? Let's all of us just be right here, right now, in the relevance of the now, cleared and purified. Things come up, great. We take a step back, we take a breath, we look at it, we address that misinterpretation of and as ourselves, and we move forth, right? Is that better to clarify that, Mr. Michael?
Absolutely, William. I wanted for you to comment on additional way I see the benefits of moving beyond your fears. And that picture is that we are our light beingness and we have a body and a mind. And every misperception and judgment and fear doesn't feel good. And it's like a weighted frequency on our true self.
Yes.
And all the long-term benefit is as we clear each individual misperception, judgment, and fear, our light beingness gets to be expressed.
Including, Michael, your day to day world, call it reality, call it going beyond reality. For each and every one of these levels, each and every one of these conflicts and constructs that are stepped back to, addressed, nipped in the bud, to where we're bringing all misperceptions into clarity.
Mhm.
What happens is your body, I mean, number one, your body literally becomes, it starts vibrating faster and faster because we're no longer carrying around these bags of sand. We're no longer carrying around the weight. We're no longer carrying around the perception. We're no longer carrying around the misperceptions. So, in playing with physics, yeah, your body lightens up, it opens up, it emanates. But then we have to kind of go to the core of it, right? Now we're emanating something totally different than you and I, as creator, commanding this to be so, that to be so, this to be this way, that way, another way. And we start really being able to bring the misperceptions into clarity to where right here, right now, as we nip, address, and look at the fear for what it is, where we can say, okay, you know what? I, as creator, now I'm undeciding that to be reality. And what happens from here is more opportunities, more barriers, and more facets within and through your world start opening up. So now we move into all these different levels of new beginnings. We're moving into all these different levels of being able to see things for what they are without any sort of filter, which in turn totally, thoroughly affects what your exponential world is going to look like, of what's going to occur and happen within your exponential world. And you open, you emanate, you amplify, and you open more and more and more with just, more and more ease, more and more grace, but also what I would call more and more openness, receptivity, and amplifiedness.
You've mentioned it throughout, but it's a real distinction of living from feeling compared to thinking.
Exactly. And it's one of those realms, Michael, that I share. I can create all these creator realities. What happens for a moment when we really, really just go beyond? And it's a physical sensation as well. As we all just open up right through the heart for a minute, front, middle, and back. We open up through all the main chakra level vortexes. We're all of this right here, right now. We're totally free. We're totally clear. We're totally open, radiant, amplified. To where now, even through the physical sensation, where we're not looking for a place to belong, because in reality, you belong everywhere and you belong right where you're at. We're right here, right now. We have no filters. We have no barriers. We have no cloudedness. We have no fog within or through ourselves. It's kind of like stepping right out of all of your personas, perception realities, which is pure openness in every direction. That's where you start to experience you and show me what today looks like.
Wow. Thank you, William, for all that going direct and clarity about the benefits to us in our day-to-day life stream by moving beyond our fears. And thank you all for joining us. This is The Relevance of Now with William Linville. Look forward to connecting with you next time. Namaste.
Namaste.